Business topics that matter. Here's your host, Sabrina Turner.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner. This morning we have one guest in studio and we'll be putting the spotlight and hearing more from Mr. Ralph Lewis, editor, CEO of Cayman Times. Without delay, I'm going to ask for a couple of seconds of your time. In the past 24 hours, we have been blasted, it seems, with deaths. And I know there are many persons out there today that are mourning the loss of dear loved ones and friends. And despite a diverse community that we are, we're all somewhat connected in some way, shape, or form. From your Business Buzz family and all the friends here, we want to share and express our condolences and warm wishes to you, and lead by faith. Pull your strength from God, and just surround and hug your loved ones that much more, because in a second they can be taken from you. We were going to put the spotlight on our BRAC artists this morning, but we know they too are mourning losses over there yesterday too. And in the space of 24 hours, we have been hit by 6 deaths right here between the islands. So, with the promotion given leading up to putting the spotlight on Cayman BRAC, our sister islands, which we will be doing much more here on the Business Buzz, we want to send our condolences out to everyone who is suffering a loss, and that's from us here at the Business Buzz. I want to thank Mr. Ralph Lewis for taking the invitation to come on board and to definitely give you a show this morning. Despite that, he's always willing to fill in, but that's not what we're going to use you for. We're grateful that you find the time to help us out here. We're very, very grateful for that. But again, because of the kind sponsorship of Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center, the Business Buzz is brought to you every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 until 9 a.m. Now, good morning and welcome to our show.
Good morning, Sabrina. It's great to be here once again.
Let's go and hear some updates on Cayman Times, because I know we can go into the history and background about what your organization is all about. But you were with us recently.
Yes.
What has happened since? Because you always have something up your sleeves.
Well, what we always say is that business has to be dynamic. There's no stopping still or standing and pause if you're either moving forward or backwards. So that's my philosophy. Something has to be happening, and we have a lot of things happening. And you have to keep changing your model. And actually, I'm happy to say that my daughter has sort of jumped on board now.
Oh, that's good for you.
And she's taking over the social media aspect
Side of it.
So we're seeing a lot more activity on our Facebook, and I'm seeing tremendous responses, and a lot more readers are going there. So, she works with Yellow, so she has that background and so on. So it's a good fit for her. And so our social media is taking off, and we're upgrading our website. And 2 months we should have a brand new news website with a lot of nice features. But the whole thing is to incorporate your online presence with your print presence. And so therefore that's where our focus is going to now, social media.
So here we are talking about you updating and having your social media presence and just keeping relevant with what's at the forefront right now. But
Yes.
looking back at where you began, history of Cayman Times and where we are today must be an interesting transition, and it continually evolves.
Yes, it has. And just to think of it, someone asked me last week, how did it start? And it started with online presence. That was my goal, to to create an online presence where you could go on and post jobs and have people apply for them. And because I wasn't happy with what was happening with the presentation of jobs for Caymanians. And so we designed a website called Job Search, and we created a newspaper or a magazine called Employment Weekly to sort of provide the statistics on what was happening in the marketplace. And that was where we started. And of course, it progressed into a full-blown newspaper, which is doing well.
Which, with right now, it is a free newspaper. Share some details on free newspaper concept and how you're able to continue to make this even possible.
Well, free newspapers. Well, let me tell you how we got there. When I launched my newspaper years ago, there are two newspapers existing, and one of them was free. So there's no way that I could start another newspaper and put a price on it. So we had to go free. But over the years, we were able to see the benefits of being a free newspaper, and also we looked at the financial aspect of it. It was going to cost me more to manage the collection of revenue from selling a newspaper than to give it for free.
Right.
And the bottom line has to be key to your operation. And so it just would not make sense financially for me to charge for it. Also, what we found out that not many people are reading newspapers. It was dying. People were going online, and we wanted people to read newspapers.
Right.
I remember growing up, and everyone, even though they had online presence, had a newspaper in their hand. You travel overseas, and everybody has a newspaper. You go into the hotels, newspapers are there. So why people weren't reading? And we found out a couple of reasons why. And so to encourage them to pick up a newspaper and see what's there, and to sort of get more interested in reading newspaper, we said, okay, if it's free, we have more people pick it up. And that's what's happening. Also, you can put it in a lot more locations, have it more available, because, of course, if you're charging for it, there has to be a collection mechanism tied to it. If there's no charge, you put it anywhere and people grab it. And so that was one of the reasons to why we decided to keep it free.
What is the role, then, of media? Understanding where it's going appears for the U.S., it's all fake news. I mean, what is the main role? Understanding, that it plays a constructive role in getting information out there, increasing awareness and all of that. But it looks like it's taking a different turn
and
recently.
Yes, it does. And I want to make it more relative to Cayman. Our paper should be a community paper. The international stuff, CNN and that sort of thing, is not a community paper anymore, or news site anymore. It's more international, and they're catering to politics. But in the Cayman Islands, the newspaper should be a community newspaper. We are very small. Everyone knows everybody. And so therefore the newspaper is supposed to bind the community. In my editorial tomorrow, you will read about the potential divide between cultures, Caymanians and non-Caymanians. We unfortunately have a situation here where 50% of our workforce is actually expat, and we have to find that mix. And a newspaper plays an important role in that. We have to position the newspaper that it brings everyone together. And that's one of the roles of a newspaper in binding the society, just relative to the Cayman Islands. Because of our challenges here, we have to find a way of saying, you know what, yes, we need expatriate workers, but we also must find work for our own people. We can't sideline them. We all have an important part to play. And so therefore, if you look at my newspaper, it's a balance between expatriate news and local news. Of course, local news overall, but we're catering to all our residents. And that's one of the main reasons for newspapers here.
That should be an interested read, and it's jabbing me in the side to ask, why now? Is it because you're hearing so much, and when you look at color, it's playing such a significant role. Once upon a time, it was gender.
Yes.
Now it doesn't matter. Yes. We're hearing more and more about the color of one's skin.
Yes, and we have to pay attention to what's happening around us. And right now there's a big thing in America, and that is really bothering me. But I have to stay aside and look on. When you call an American president a racist, that's serious. That's the leader of your country. That means he represents your country, and you're calling him a racist. That's great. That's not good. And so therefore, when you look at the color of the skin and
social status
and everything, we cannot ignore it. It exists today, and so of course people will take advantage of that and abuse it and use that in a political nature. But we at home can do the right thing, and so it's good to bring it to the forefront that it's not the color of your skin, but what's in your heart. They say what's in your head too, but I believe what's in your heart. And that's what's important.
Do you feel by way of your newspaper that you could actually encourage or evoke this more sort of media conversation base? Because to many, it's still a difficult one to have.
Yes. And that's why we created this section called Community Voice. And I encourage people to send in their thoughts. Of course, we have to be respectful of people.
It's feelings, yes.
And so
Because you don't know how your path has been different from mine because of the color of your skin, because of your surname. There's so much social barriers and just so much stereotyping that has been going on that when we speak to it, it all depends on who your audience is. Your reaction can differ because of one's experience.
Of course. And that's so true, so true. And we don't know someone's history. If it's in a picture of my mother, she's white. Mm-hmm. She has Irish blood in her, but my father is black. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if you look at my brothers, they're a lot clearer than I am. And so I have to understand that, okay, well, you see someone, you're not sure where they're from. And you can't really judge them like that. And I used to just generate. And then another role of newspaper is to have the community involved in these discussions in a respectful way. Mm-hmm. I've seen some discussions online, unfortunately, and they're not as respectful as they should be. My role as a newspaper is to have a forum where we can balance that. Let's debate. Let's have conversations, but respectful of each other's comments and
their views.
And that's what's important.
Because you don't know what you say in the heart that may result in one's outbursts. But again, in a respectful manner, because we have to respect one another. Now, so that leads me to this. What are some of the guidelines all journalists should be aware of in safeguarding and enhancing the stream of quality news? Because you can write your paper in a way that have me totally against, let's say, a specific topic because of how you write it. How are you able to just create that balance to be fair and not necessarily your view, but be more objective then?
The key is to know your position as a media outlet. We have to not take sides. We have to not take sides. If you have a personal view, keep it to yourself. But if you...
Because of your role.
Because of your role. Yes, you may want to have a discussion amongst friends or whatever, but because you now are writing for a newspaper, you cannot take sides. And many media houses overseas and all around tend to write the articles in a way that...
It's obvious.
It directs you in a direction. That should not happen. There's a view that shouldn't come from you. Mm-hmm. You write the story, and a lot of people like the paper that we produce because we just get the facts. Here is what has happened. End of story. If you want to have a view about it, that's fine. So we have to remember our position is not to take sides, and we have to listen. That's one of the key elements in communication, especially as a journalist. Listen. Don't tell people what you want them to say. Mm-hmm. Or if you're doing a story...
To make your ratings go up.
If you're doing a story, don't direct them where you want them to say. No, you let them listen. Okay, here we are today. You want to talk about this? Tell me. And so that's what's important, listening. And of course, you want to make sure that the facts that you hear are real, are true. And just produce the facts, publish the facts.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz that is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211, and also by Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. We put the spotlight and hear more from Mr. Ralph Lewis, editor and CEO of Caymanian Times. We'll take a short message, a few commercial breaks, and when we come back, more from Mr. Ralph Lewis and Caymanian Times.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
The Cayman Islands has a rich history of recognizing sports and recreation as an important element in the social and economic development of these islands. In 1935, Governor Cornwall organized the first regatta for catboats and schooners, both as a social event and as a means of encouraging tourists visiting Jamaica to come to the Cayman Islands. By 1947, it was recommended that every school should have a sports day, followed by the first inter-school sports day held in 1949. By 1960, 1976, the Cayman sailing team was in the Olympics, followed by the island's participation in CARIFTA, Central America and Caribbean Games, Pan American Games, the Commonwealth Games, Island Games, World Championships in athletics, and World Cup qualifiers in football.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
540 months.
16,425 days.
394,200 hours.
45 years.
That's how long we've been committed to serving you, and we won't stop there. Over the years, we have proudly grown with Cayman, making a difference in the community. That's why we're here, to stand by you.
We are Cayman National.
And we thank you for standing by us for 45 years and counting.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Each weekday, Monday through Friday, Miracle Brokers is the proud sponsor of Radio Cayman's Bulletin Board. For all your moving needs, call the professionals of Miracle Brokers, 949-5989 or 916-0355. For a free estimate, they take the hassle out of moving. Miracle Brokers.
Now located at 140 Kingbird Drive in the North Sound. Do you have a business in the tourism industry? The Cayman Islands Department of Tourism wants you to get listed on their website. Visit CaymanIslands.com. It's absolutely free and will give your business added exposure on the #1 visited tourism site for the Cayman Islands. Learn more and get listed at www.visitCaymanIslands.com/sign up. That's www.visitCaymanIslands.com/sign up. Don't wait. Sign up today.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. We have in our studios our guest this morning, Mr. Ralph Lewis, editor, CEO of Caymanian Times, as we get an update and learn more about the newspaper. Now, how has printed media changed over the years in adapting to readers being able to read news right in the palm of their hands? Now, we know you started out by using an online format.
Yes.
But you've gone to printed. Now you've gone to a combination of both.
Yes.
You're obviously onto something here.
Well, I take my directions from the master above. And I believe that where I am today is his guidance and his grace. And I think he has a role for me in this life. And like a friend of mine told me, that's your pulpit. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so I've accepted the responsibility. What we found over the years is that the penetration of internet users in the Cayman Islands is still significantly low compared with other countries, and for many reasons. Also, people are getting tired of the screens, and a lot of younger folks, even my kids, addicted to that computer screen. When you work all day on your computer, you want to go home and you want to still read. You don't want to go in front of a computer screen or have an iPad in front of you on the bed or have a smartphone. We need to break away from that monotony. And so therefore, the newspaper comes in very handy. My older readers say, listen, Mr. Lewis, I have stacks of paper here, and I go and I take a chance to have a little coffee in the morning, and I like my newspapers. We speak to travelers, and they like to have that feel. And the thing is, the internet is also moving at light speed.
Oh, yeah.
If you go on Facebook and you see a story, in 2 seconds it's gone. You can't find it anymore.
Exactly.
Because there's so much activity. With a newspaper, you pick it up, it's there. You can go back and read it. And so newspapers are critical to a person's intelligence. And of course, that's why we focus on not only news, but also education. So you want to read something that educates you, and not informs, also educates. And so therefore, if you go to school, they tend to give you textbooks.
Yes.
Now they have it on
smart boards and these.
But still, the textbooks are always there.
Yes.
So it's printed material will be around forever. And it's important for any business to understand that, okay, where your revenues come from, and it's advertising. And then companies that tend to want to drift to advertise online rather than in print because the advertising cost is lower and they tend to be able to manage the readership. Now, as a business, you want to not lose that business. So what you have to do is combine both, but also reduce the prices on your print. So people can afford to use both, and you package it together. So it's a win-win.
Which segues straight into the next question. What are some misconceptions about the affordability of printing advertising?
Yes. And when I do research, I have to compare myself or my business with not only local market, but external market. And so therefore, when we found out what the cost of advertising newspapers overseas, are like, wow. But of course, everything that came in is expensive.
Anyhow.
One of the roles of any business, and this is for the business people, is to reduce your cost of doing business so you can give your customer value for money. At some point, the client's going to say it's not worth it. And so therefore, if you have passed that threshold, then you have a problem. If it's not worth it for me to advertise here, I'm going to do it someplace else because the cost is just too much for my business.
Right.
So as a business owner, you have to find a way of reducing your costs so you can bring that cost down for the client and they will buy into it. So that's what we look at. And
you've been able to find that correct balance that works for your organization.
And it's a consistent search. You never... You find savings today, look for savings tomorrow.
As well.
So one of my jobs is to always look at every single thing. And I've been always talking about cutting costs.
Yes.
It's a consistent daily rule of mine. How can I cut costs? They call me cheap. Remember those conversations?
Frugal. You corrected me the last time.
Yeah, I'm not cheap. It's just about, that's how life is.
Yes.
And to manage, you have to find ways of cutting costs. And everybody's happy afterwards.
Now, what are some ways small business owners and startup companies can reach their target customer through your newspaper?
Yeah. Well, everyone reads my newspaper. Let's put it that way. I got a request last night. What's your target market? My target market is everyone from 6 to 96. We wanted to get the young people involved in reading.
Right.
And so therefore we started to produce stories that they were interested in, find out what they want. Because that's the future, the kids. Then we wanted those people who are in their early 20s, who started working, and we understand that they had some challenges with finance and getting settled. So we started having articles based on that. And then the older folks love history, like me. So we started producing then and now, writing a lot of historical stories about Cayman. It's amazing. A lot of stuff people didn't know. I didn't know. So our target market is everyone. So advertisers who want to reach anyone in this market can get access to the readers through us.
What's the feedback been like from readers pertaining to the various sections of the Caymanian Times? And, what particular sections are they absolutely enjoying?
Okay. Well, what I found out from my research, people pick up the papers for three main things. Obituaries. Everybody wants to see who have passed. That's the way of finding out. And so that's one of the reasons why we gave it for free. All the announcements in our papers are free. That's our duty to the community. And as we discussed earlier, it's happening so much more now. Also, people like the puzzles. Don't drop a puzzle any day. People pick up the paper for the puzzles. Everyone.
Really?
It's amazing. I didn't print it one day. I got calls for the puzzles. He said, sorry, but to disturb you, but we need to put them
Where's the puzzles?
Jobs. That is a very big push for it. And then the news comes after.
Okay.
So that's how it works with newspapers. And you can see why. People like the puzzles and people want to see who passed. And you don't find that everywhere. People like to see the pictures. And, of course, jobs are there. And, I think there's a place in the paper for jobs. And it should be in the papers.
Your opinion.
My opinion.
You're entitled.
Oh, right.
How many times a week do you publish Caymanian Weekly?
It's 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We tried a Saturday version at one point.
How did that go?
We had a lot of readers, but not a lot of advertisers.
Okay.
And so I had to pull it or suspend it, as I would say. You have to pay for every paper. If no one advertising, you can't print a paper. And so we found out that it was not making. So we were able to put the material in the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's a good balance. We thought of doing 5 days a week, and I could if I wanted to, but it comes back down to business. You have to cover your costs with production, with advertisement, and of course, if you have to increase the cost of advertising to cover those days that you're losing money, it's not going to work. So 3 days is good enough with all the online content. 3 days are good. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
How much work does it take to print newspapers? And put everything together to get it to that stage?
I'll come back to that question in 2 minutes. I want to mention this, and you'll see why. There is no boss in business.
There is no?
Boss.
Okay.
I've done that. And the reason why I say that, if you want to be successful in business, you can't be a boss. You have to get your hands dirty. You get in the trenches.
Be a team player.
You have to be there. You're a team player, no boss. So those days have gone. And so I do a lot of the work myself.
That's fair.
And I was up this morning from 4:30. And I'm here this morning. But I have a system. And I get involved. So you ask me how much work is involved. I can't be a DJ no more. So it takes up a full day for me.
Okay.
But the good thing is that, and I don't have many full-time staff with me. I would love to hire more, but of course the business. So we do have outsourced a number of roles. We have freelance writers. We have distribution guys who own their own car and do the deliveries for me. And we have, someone in the office, and my assistant. We design on the Sun area. We print in Florida, because a newspaper cannot print its own paper. The printing mechanism is too expensive to manage for one paper. And so we're printing in a company that prints for a number of newspapers. It reduces the cost, and so therefore we can pass on the savings to the client, and of course we stay afloat. We have to bring it in, and the plane's coming in this morning. We give Cayman Airways some good business every year, but at the same time it's still it costs a lot less. So therefore, to print the newspaper for a business, it's not that expensive because it's done someplace else.
Okay.
What is important is you're managing the process, and number one, customer service. So that's where the work is, taking care of my clients, because who pays the bill?
Them.
That's why it's a lot of work in more managing your customers, getting a level of service rather than just printing the paper.
Okay. I looked at you when you were explaining or giving a response to what work is involved in running or printing a newspaper, and you almost seemed like you were a little bit embarrassed to say you're doing it all. When you look at the greats, past and even now, the likes of Elon Musk, who sleeps under his desk, sometimes don't even go home, some of the biggest successful billionaires, they are so creative that they don't mind actually saying, I did it all. When you check it, even those, a lot of them, neither of them or a lot of them didn't even have a partner because they were so focused on their design, their dream, their path. Yes. So never, ever disqualify or dilute the fact that you do it all. You're on your path. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay. Thank you, my dear, for the support.
So, but it is a thing of entrepreneurs where humility is concerned, that you actually think it's bad because you're not in the beautiful glass walled at the big old mahogany desk. There's nothing wrong with it. At the end of the day, the goal is your customers are happy and you're making some jingle in your pocket.
That's right.
Stay tuned to more of the Business Buzz after the 8 o'clock news and weather update. Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Sabrina. And studio time now by Price Right is 8 o'clock.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. This means savings for you. Everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
Access information.
Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. After serving 10 years in the Ministry of Health, Environment, Culture, and Housing, Chief Officer Jennifer Ahern will take up the post of Strategic Operations Officer under the Office of the Deputy Governor. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
Effective today, Jennifer Ahern takes up her new post, which will focus on leading innovation, governance, and reducing bureaucracy across the civil service. In welcoming her to the new role, Deputy Governor and Head of the Civil Service, Frans Manderson, says he welcomes Ms. Ahern to the Office of the Deputy Governor and thanks her for her dedication and commitment to the Ministry of Health. While the civil service has made significant progress in key areas, he notes there is still a great deal of work to be done in its efforts to be a world-class civil service. He says he's fortunate to have someone of Ms. Ahern's considerable experience and expertise on board to lead these critical areas. Ms. Ahern says she welcomes the new role and is excited about the fantastic opportunities it will bring, but says the move is also a bittersweet one, as she will miss working with her colleagues at the Ministry of Health, Environment, Culture, and Housing, as well as the agencies under the ministry. Deputy Chief Officer Nancy Barnard will immediately take on acting chief officer duties. However, she will be leaving on vacation soon, so the ministry's chief financial officer, Ms. Nellie Pucci, will cover the acting chief officer duties while Ms. Barnard is on leave. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Trinidad's Caribbean Airlines announces it will be servicing a Jamaica-Cayman route.
We are set, of course, for the duration of our license and permission to start service between Kingston, Jamaica and Grand Cayman. With respect to our operations within the region, our flight to Grand Cayman should facilitate easy connections to our broader Caribbean network.
Caribbean Airlines head of corporate communications, Dion Lagour, says while they can't say when the new route will start, the airline will run nonstop flights twice weekly. Caribbean Airlines has also launched its mobile app designed for iOS and Android devices and features a number of tools to enhance the customer's travel experience. Destinations on Caribbean Airlines also include Bahamas, Cuba, Grenada, Guyana, St. Lucia, United States, and Trinidad and Tobago. And inmates at Northwood Prison get a chance to learn career pathways. More from Radio Cayman's Keely Ebanks.
Northwood Prison Chaplains Wednesday held a careers information session for inmates and panel discussion.
It's very important because a lot of the men who come to prison are oftentimes unskilled and uncertified. And we figure if we give them this sort of skill and certification, it's going to be far more beneficial to them. This session is important, of course, because we need them to know. We need them to feel inspired and motivated.
92 inmates attended the session. Correctional counselor Alfred McLeod says it's the first of its kind session and the prison is set to launch a vocational program aimed towards not just training inmates in different areas of vocational field, but certification for them.
To give them the necessary skills and training so that living on the outside can be something more successful for them and hopefully reduce the amount of crime they commit.
Officials hope for these sessions to be ongoing.
Radio Cayman's Keely Ebanks reporting. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Austin. Rwanda has closed its border with the Democratic Republic of Congo near the crowded city of Goma as Congolese health workers struggle to contain one of the worst ever outbreaks of Ebola. Since the disease was confirmed a year ago, more than 1,800 people have died. A third case has been identified in Goma. Houthi rebels in Yemen have attacked a parade at a military camp near the city of Aden, killing more than 30 people. Houthi sources say a ballistic missile and a drone were used in the assault. Footage showed bodies strewn on the ground. The Chinese military garrison in Hong Kong has released a publicity video displaying its firepower in an apparent warning to anti-government protesters who've been demonstrating for weeks. Soldiers from the Chinese People's Liberation Army are seen driving tanks, setting off explosives and conducting an anti-riot drill. BBC News.
Access information.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Looking for a new car? We can give you a zillion reasons to switch to electric. They cost you less to run. They helps to save the planet. They are free charging stations all across Grand Cayman. Low maintenance needs. They're quiet both inside and out. And they're the future. But most of all, the government has reduced custom duties on electric cars. For cars valued below $30,000, you now don't have to pay anything. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure Facebook page for more information on electric cars.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it. Drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 97%. Barometric pressure 29.91 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 6 knots. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate an increase in cloudiness and shower activity is expected through tomorrow morning as a tropical wave moves across the Western Caribbean. Radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now, the forecast for today and tonight is calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will be in the low 90s today and will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 9:19, low tide this afternoon at 3:40, and a high tide again tonight at 10:16. The sun will set this evening at 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 3 minutes after 6. And the outlook is calling for an increase in cloudiness and shower activity to persist through Saturday, initially associated with a lingering tropical wave, but also supported by a surface trough that will move into the northwest Caribbean from tomorrow.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Superstitch. Now don't take my word for it. Drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Superstitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Superstitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Cayman Water Company would like to advise the public of roadwork interruptions from Monday, July 29th through to Thursday, August 1st on West Bay Road by the mini roundabout between Galleria Plaza and Fidelity Bank. Roadwork will take place from 8 p.m. until 4 a.m. Traffic headed into Georgetown from West Bay will be diverted onto the Esterly-Tibbetts bypass. Traffic headed into West Bay on West Bay Road will not be diverted. There will be no access given to West Bay Road if trying to come off the Esterly-Tibbetts bypass. Drivers are asked to proceed with caution and obey all traffic signs as roadwork is conducted on the mini roundabout between Galleria Plaza and Fidelity Bank on West Bay Road from Monday, July 29th until August 1st from the hours of 8 p.m. until 4 a.m.
This is Caitlin Tyson, your reigning Miss Cayman Islands Universe, here to encourage you all to attend this year's pageant on Saturday, August 17th at the Ritz-Carlton Resort. It's going to be an amazing event. Tickets are on sale now at Sand Angels in Camana Bay and Funky Tangs in Georgetown. There's limited seating, so be sure to get yours soon. Thanks to our corporate sponsors, the Ministry and Department of Tourism, Cayman Airways, Hurley's Media, and Radio Cayman.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Summer, the season for backyard gatherings, beach parties, office socials, and camps for kids. Whether planning a casual company luncheon, a beach picnic, or summer camp party, Subway offers catering for all your summer events. Cater to any crowd with Subway's selection of assorted sandwich platters to your liking. Or make it simple by trying their Fresh Fit and Flavor Craver platters. Also in the mix is the Double the Meat, Double the Flavor wrap platter, and add an assortment of cookies, brownies, chips, and drinks. Make the most of your summer party and leave the catering to Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
Good morning once again, and looking at what's happening with our traffic coming from the east. Steady bit flowing traffic on Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady bit flowing traffic. Roads are wet, so please drive with extra care. Busy traffic on Crew Road and some sections steady. And steady traffic coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway on Agnes Way. And traffic is steady but flowing coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. Moderate flow of traffic on North Sound Road. And light to moderate traffic flow coming from the West Bay four-way stop. And light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. Huldah Avenue, a little steady but flowing traffic. And traffic moving moderately on Thomas Russell Way. That's the very latest on your traffic. Remember 10-2 on the steering wheel and drive safe, Cayman Islands.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz as we continue to keep the spotlight on the Caymanian Times, speaking with Editor-CEO Mr. Ralph Lewis. Again, the Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Centre and is brought to you every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 until 9 a.m. Now, we spoke about the history, the main aim of the Caymanian Times, the role of the media, informing information relating to free newspapers, feedback that you have received, and we really need to delve into where the future lies for the Caymanian Times, understanding that you want your paper, as you stated earlier, to mainly be a local newspaper. But we also spoke and understood of the amount of foreign imported labor that we have, and whether or not that's going to go away anytime soon, that's another show. Yes. But do you feel then, with our community being so diverse,
yes,
with so much nationalities, that you would be in the future including more international and regional news in the pipeline for your newspaper?
Yes. The Caymanian Times is a local newspaper, but we all have to understand what local means in this sense. And we have a country that many people live in. 50% of the workforce is not from here, and it will remain that way for some time to come. And that's just how it is. We're very unique in many ways. It's a very nice place to live. We're very attractive. There's very little crime and so on. So you have to understand that there will be non-Caymanians living here amongst us. That's how it's going to be. And a local newspaper should not only cater to those to Caymanians. We have to understand that people come from other countries. And so what we have done, instead of having a huge section of foreign news, we have focused mostly on local news. But we don't live in isolation here. And we sort of took out 5 locations in the world where we have a large segment of the population working here. And if you see, every Friday we have what is called Global Briefs. And we do have news from Canada, UK, we do have news from Honduras, the Philippines, and I think Jamaica. So we do have a little bit of everything, but it's not a full-page story.
Understood.
It's like some headlines, snippets, and we call it Global Briefs, and that happens every Friday. Of course, we live in the Caribbean region, and we do regional stories from time to time to see what's happening. It's amazing. We ran a story on sargassum, and it's here to stay. And if you look at other areas in the region, they have been dealing with this problem even before we started.
Right.
And if you understand where the sargassum comes from, you realize that in the region we have this problem together. And so to solve it, we all have to get together with sargassum. And these kind of things that a regional content would help. So yes, your majority of news should be local stuff. You have to talk about what's happening, education, but it's good to have snippets of regional activity and global activity. We know the UK. We have to pay attention to what Mr. Johnson is going to be doing.
Very closely.
Brexit is a couple of weeks away.
And the U.S. elections.
And the U.S. elections coming up. I had a nice debate last night.
Yes.
We're trying to... Anyway. But we have to understand that what happens in those countries...
Can affect. It's a ripple effect.
Yes, will affect us. If the U.S. sneezes, we get a cold. If Mr. Johnson in the UK decides something, it will affect us. We know that. So we have to have those pieces of information in the newspaper.
Keeping in the know. It's one thing of doing it on your smart devices, but again, respectful.
Yes.
How many people are really wanting to pick up their phone to Google, or they may subscribe to various news outlets, apps. You're still being able to entertain and provide a service where people have a choice. Mr. Lewis, I think we have a caller.
Okay, good.
Caller, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, you're live on the Business Buzz. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
Just thought I would ask a couple of questions.
Sure, by all means.
About the Time paper. Mr. Lewis, I think you're doing a good job with your news and so on. In fact, I think it's more informative than another newspaper that I know of sometimes. Anyway, but I do not like the size it is and how you separate it into 2 sections. Can you go to the same size as the other publication? It is more manageable, and it also separates in 2 pieces, and it's hard to even control it when you're trying to read it, unless you pick it up as 2 separate pieces. So I don't know if you couldn't just combine it, even if it's an A and B section, if you could still keep it into one, assemble it into 1 section, or 1 piece, I should say.
Yes.
Any reason why it's the size it is and why you separate it?
Okay. And good morning. And thanks for your call and thanks for the compliments. And we listen to our readers, and of course we take your comments and concerns very seriously. The reason for going to the larger size was to reduce the cost. Having a local newspaper is very, very, very expensive, and so we were able to get a better, a lower price by going to Miami Herald size of newspaper. The decision to have it in 2 sections is also related to cost, but that's something we can revert to at any time. We can have all in one paper. The only difference is that you'll get some pages in black and white, and because over 16 pages, you then have to have a component of black and white, and our newspaper is fully color. And so therefore, if we put them all together in one, you might have 24 pages, and so 6 of those pages will have to be in black and white. That's one. So those are the reasons why. But we can have it in one, and if we chose to, and also folding it fits nice in the stands, and also it gives us a chance to put an insert where for a smaller paper inside there, and that helps. So that's the reason why. But we can.
Reasons why you have those 2 things.
Yes.
Well, I guess if that's what it takes to make it feasible, I'm not going to try to tell you to lose money on it. So, but that's the 2 things that I don't really care for in that respect. When it's folded in 2, it's fine to carry it and so on. But when to try to read it, you got to have longer arms or something to make it comfortable.
Okay. Well,
or fold it in 2, one or the other. Anyway, if that's the reason, I understand. So it is printed overseas?
It's printed as overseas in Miami, actually.
Yes. Okay. Well, all the best. I think you're doing a good job.
Well, thank you for your comment and your feedback, and I will think about it. Like I said, we're here to please our readers and our clients, and I'll think about it. One question for you, sir. Do you think that if I printed black and white pages for some of them, it would be a problem?
I don't think everything has to be in color. I think we go in a little bit too exclusive nowadays. I believe with color.
Nice.
Well, I appreciate that.
I wouldn't refuse to read it because it's not in color.
Okay, excellent. Well, that may help me make my decision then.
This is a good avenue then to see exactly, because you remember back in the day, all it was black and white. It's only recently it does.
While you would see 1 or 2 pages.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if one is willing to sacrifice, let's say, so much color for a bigger, more manageable paper, we could probably, or you could do a little census or a poll on that. And majority rules, but.
I guess,
but that's
and
doable.
the pictures would be better in color, of course.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But not everything I would think has to be in color.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I can make that switch like overnight. That's easy. It's just
all right, sir.
But thanks for the call and for the conversation.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
Thank you. Have a good day. You see, the power is in the people, and at the end of the day, you respect exactly what they contribute, because without them picking up and being comfortable with what you're producing, it makes no sense.
Yeah. And it's amazing. And you remember how we started? It was a little booklet.
Yes.
And we grew over time. And, we tried to figure out, when I decided to go to the larger size, because remember I had a size.
You did have it, right?
Yes. And I don't have a problem sharing percentages. Mm-hmm. It cost me over 20% more to produce that size. Mm-hmm. That's kind of for every $5 spent, I'm saving $1.
Right.
So therefore, it's a significant savings by going to the larger size. And so in order to maintain a free newspaper on a timely basis and give better prices or low prices for advertising, we have to make some sacrifices. And so most of my clients understood that the larger paper, it doesn't feel like the other one.
Or the smaller paper.
The smaller paper, but at the same time, they can manage it, because at least they get some savings and it's free. So that the way we have to balance it.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz that is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Centre. We'll take a break, and when we come back, more from Mr. Ralph Lewis and the Caymanian Times.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Always be prepared and ensure your family is provided for. Cayman Insurance Center specializes in life, property, motor, health, and liability at the most competitive premiums and affordable rates on island. Call Michael Webster today at 925-5433 for life insurance or Denise Brown at 814-7229 for property insurance. Call them today for all your insurance needs.
At Logic, we make things better for our customers. It's why we're offering free Boost Wi-Fi. With Boost, you get improved Wi-Fi connectivity everywhere in your home, so there's no more dead zones. The only people we're not making this better for is parents. Because now with seamless Wi-Fi in every room in your home, go to your room isn't really the punishment it used to be. Sorry about that. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
Hi, Cayman. Born and raised in Central Georgetown, I am 25-year-old Mahalia Seymour, your contestant number 1 in this year's Miss Cayman Islands Universe pageant. I'm an advocate for mental health awareness and a speaker for the silent voices that are afraid to be heard. That's why I'm delighted to have the Alex Panton Foundation as our platform for this year. Being a dog mom, I've become obsessed with Cayman Salt Life, enjoying long walks on the beach filled with millions of selfies, of course, which has allowed me to partner with an eco-friendly organization, Four Oceans, that helps to eliminate the amount of single-use plastics overtaking our oceans. I look forward to seeing you all at the Ritz-Carlton on August 17th for the big night. See you then.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Business Buzz.
It's not too often you get to sit at work and pretty much don't really care if your boss sees you reading the newspaper. That's what I'm doing right now. Yes, and I can get away with it. And it's only because we're putting the spotlight on Caymanian Times. And, you know, in all honesty, it's one thing of looking and reading the news on your smart device or even your computer at home. But I have the privilege of picking up this paper, looking at, how it's presented. And I do understand what the caller is saying about it being in two parts. Yes. But you say this is an easy fix, just that we may be sacrificing some of the color, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And it is a little too long.
Yes.
So it's constructive criticism.
And I accept it. I've learned over the years to listen. It was difficult at first because you believe you figured out everything, but I've learned over time. I guess it's age. You get to listen, and I can take criticism well.
Right. And you don't take it personal. That's good.
I don't take it personal. I'm all right. I'm happy for it because if you can give me advice and tell me how you feel, I can fix it.
Right.
And there's also a solution to that. So I can do something and make you happy. But if I don't know how you feel and how you think, I can't do that.
That's
right.
what's important. Well, pick up your copy of the Caymanian Times today.
Yes.
They're actually en route as we speak, if not already here. And we're hoping by the next edition, since you say it's an easy fix, that it'll be a little shorter. and in one part.
In one part. The one part is an easy fix, but the length is a little different.
Little different? Well, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Okay. How important is it to keep your readers engaged with interesting content? And do you, I guess you took on suggestions just now.
Yes. When we started out, I didn't want to be printing the same thing that the other papers are printing. I found I had to be different for people to want to pick it up. Because if they all have the same stories, nobody's going to pick them up. So what we did was start to do things differently. And up to now, people still love the gas prices section. That started out. So that was something new. And people love it. You know, you drive by the gas station and you see the prices there on the signs, but to have the newspaper all, in one page, it's a good thing.
You can absorb it a bit more.
Yes. So that was one thing. Then I had where I started to write about banking and how to manage money and sort of put those things in there. People were like, okay, I can learn something from this. And so they started to look at the financial tips, started doing motivations. And so we started going down on a road where we're entertaining people now. It wasn't just news alone. It was news and education. I even started a little story from my book I wrote years ago called The Man's Story, the way I look at life and relationships and so on. And I went into a store one day, lady said, what happened to the story this week? People were following the story
Wow.
because, like, okay, it's interesting. I wasn't writing about anybody personally, but the way I found life, and like one chapter was black and white, relationships, interracial marriages, and it was a story I had to write because one of my brothers married someone from the UK, and like, okay, I look at it differently because I'm from the Caribbean. I'm like, I saw the challenges and I saw the pros and cons. I wrote about it, and so these things, sort of things people can relate to,
right?
And that's what people are interested in. How does this information relate to my personal life? And that's why local news is so important, because it's relating to their personal life.
And you can connect.
And you can
There's
connect.
better, a more connect. Where do you see this organization in the future, understanding that it's changing times? News is, you're competing with smart devices, uploading of stuff, and now you still have to wait for time to be printed. It's almost as though you're just on the heels of competing even with yourself, because you do have an online presence.
Newspapers.
You think this printed media will always be around?
Newspapers will be here to stay. Some people said, it's not going to happen, but it's what you do with it. There are ways of displaying advertisements in a newspaper which is different to the online presence. It has a longer shelf life, and so therefore you can take that newspaper and you put it on the dining room table, on a boardroom table, and everybody can pass it around and look at stuff. You could have it on a screen, but it's not the same. You get 5 copies and give everybody. You can make notes, you can write on it, and you can take it home. It's like a working pad. Yes, and there are other tablets you can do that too. But the paper is good, and people keep it at home. So it has a place. What you have to do is manage the cost and the distribution and balance that with the online presence.
Okay.
You have to have content that is not found online in the newspaper. So you don't see me publish everything to Facebook that's in the newspaper. You have to leave something for them to come to. And so therefore it's about balancing, and that's life. We can't just change everything for the new, if you understand it. We can't just migrate to technology. We have to remember the old days and sometimes keep our old values. It's a balance of not forgetting where you came from, but adopting the changes that are coming. And
integrating both.
Integrating both.
Yes.
So we think that Caymanian Times is here for a long time to come, and it's going to be both in print and online. For example, here's another surprise coming up. I always like drop these things. We do have a classified section in our website. We had it from a long time ago. We're going to combine that with classified in the newspaper. So when you go online, the same classified just pops into the newspaper for free.
That's, again, like I said, there's always something going on with you.
And
you're always releasing something new on the Business Buzz, which we're grateful.
And to the gentleman that asked about the size, because of the volume of classifieds, the size will help us
with that.
And that's why there's a section for that.
Okay.
So the future is that section that you see will come out, and that will be a classified section.
Okay.
With your jobs, with your personal classifieds. That will be a classified section on its own, and the other piece of the paper will be the real paper.
Okay.
So for now, we haven't gone to that stage.
Yeah.
Everything, but you'll be easily to separate it.
The classifieds.
And you will see that's personal classifieds and everything, and this is my newspaper.
Okay, that puts it into perspective.
Yes, that's where we're going. But for now, we don't have that section yet, so we put some of the news on the second side. But that's one of the reasons for those things.
Succession planning. We always talk about your vision, your passion, growing the organization, definitely being here for a long time. How important is succession planning for the continuity of something like this happen? You brought your daughter in. She's more looking at it from the online perspective, but you think eventually she could probably get a better understanding of the overall operations of the business?
Well, I have 3 children. My oldest is Leonard. He's 32 years old. He works at Walker's. He's an IT expert. Then is the second, she's a daughter. She just gave me a grandson some time ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And Lance is 20. He's in university now. He's doing his degree in IT as well. Newspapers, you need social media, you need IT, you need journalism. So therefore, I think that the children are positioned to be part of the business in the future. Of course, they would need assistance from other areas, and I don't plan to have any more children. So, so we'd have to, find out those resources. But running a business, you need to know everything. So even though Liana is in social media, she has to know the financial aspect of it. So that will come. So we'll pass on that eventually. And the journalism and the editing and all those. So we have to be multitasking. If something happens to me, somebody can pick it up and do it. If my writer doesn't write a story, I can go write a story. I used to write all the stories when I started.
Yeah.
So I can do it. So I used to do my own printing in my living room at 2 a.m. So by knowing how to do everything, you're able to fill in those gaps. And you pass on information, then of course that's where you take care of the contingency planning.
What advice, if any, would you give to persons or aspiring entrepreneurs, understanding that you had your fair share of hardships in getting your businesses off the road and for continued success? Do you feel that there's enough going on for small businesses to tap in the local market and to be able to make those entrepreneurs' wishes and dreams become a reality because of what resources are out there?
Yeah. The future is bright for Cayman. We have to be positive with what we want to do. You have to be committed. There's sacrifices to be made. There are opportunities, but we have to look at things differently. Don't let anyone tell you differently. When I went to newspapers, the banks told me, no, we can't help you because newspapers lose money. I said, I seen that. I did my research, but we have to think outside the box and do it differently. Without their help, I was able to make mine a success. And so you can't let people put you down or tell you that you can't do something. If they tell you can't do it, you find a way. So you have to be consistent. You have to be ambitious. You have to be you can't give up. You have to have that energy,
that drive, that
zeal. Yes. And so therefore, having it inside you, having that energy, having that compassion, having that want to do it, you just keep pushing. Yeah, there were challenges. It took me 5 years to really get where I'm at today. And it was not easy. But because I was committed to making it work, make changes along the way, and understand
and you're still making changes.
Yeah.
That's life.
Like my brother told me, nothing good comes easy.
Yes.
If you get it easy, it's going to go fast. So therefore, just keep working hard and don't be ashamed to get your hands dirty. Like I mentioned, there's no boss in business. And also, don't be ashamed to give something for free. It's all right. So there are certain things that you have to understand. And if you don't have the education, don't worry about it. You can learn.
Yes.
You can learn.
And don't be scared to ask. Yeah. Don't be ashamed to say, I don't know.
Yeah. And listen.
Yes.
Listen. Learn to listen. And take feedback constructively because, I did the business, but gentleman called and I'm happy to listen to him because, he knows something that I don't know. And we have to understand that we don't know everything. We know some things, but others know more than we do. And there's always somebody better than you, right? Waiting in the wings.
Ready to take the front lead.
Yes.
Speaking with Mr. Ralph Lewis, editor-CEO of Caymanian Times. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we'll get a recap and some more information on Caymanian Times. Over to you, Susan.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Hi, I'm 27-year-old Samantha Dixon, representing the beautiful district of East End. One of my favorite hobbies is working out at the gym. I enjoy traveling, spending time with family and friends, and meeting new people. I also enjoy taking long walks on the beach with my dog Callie. Thank you to Mega Food Distributors for their generous sponsorship. I'll see you all at the Ritz-Carlton on August 17th.
For the Health of It is heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. It is brought to you by Holy Cross Hospital. Quality medical care and advanced technology with sincere compassion and understanding. Our mission is you. Call 1-954-351-5906 or visit Holy Cross Hospital at holy-cross.com.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, keeping the spotlight and hearing more from Editor-CEO of Caymanian Times, Mr. Ralph Lewis. Again, the Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211. And also by Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. A lot of information shared this morning, very informative, and
thank you.
There's always great things that you share with us here on the Business Buzz, Ralph, and you're always so willing and eager to come in at pretty much a flip of one call. Susan, one call, one email, and he's right here and is never late. He's very dedicated, and he is a loyal contributor to Radio Cayman and the Business Buzz especially, and we're grateful for that. Let's do a little bit of recap. What important points would you like to leave with our listeners this morning regarding Caymanian Times newspaper and any additional information you would like to should resonate with our viewing and listening audience today?
Well, I believe that the community is who makes any business a success. And I had a discussion just recently, and one of my main writers, he said, remember that the people of the Cayman Islands have a stake in your business too. Mm-hmm. Without them, you wouldn't be where you are today. So never forget them. Whatever decisions you make, they are your stakeholders as well. Not just you and your children or who had put money in your business or before lent you money, whatever. The Caymanian people have a stake in your business. And we have to remember that as a business that we can't exist alone. We depend on the market to survive. Once you understand that concept, you start focusing on how you can provide service and who you're writing for and who you're producing this paper for. Mm-hmm. If we didn't have readers out there, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd probably play music.
It's true.
And if I play music and nobody's dancing, I better find something else to do.
Exactly.
So we have to understand that in this life, in this world, we depend on other people for whatever we have to do. We're not living in a jungle by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so we have to learn to live with everyone, make everyone happy. And you can't make everyone happy? You can try. And you have to make your clients, feel that they own part of what you're doing. They're part of you. And what I've been able to achieve was that Caymanian people have been part of my growth. Mm-hmm. They've seen me from the beginning. And like someone said yesterday, you're consistent with what you do and where you are. I remember being on other radio stations years ago, mm-hmm. even in here. Mm-hmm. And we have sort of been, it's almost 6 years now. Mm-hmm. We've been just plugging away. Mm-hmm. So the people have become part of this. And that's what it's all about. This Caymanian Times is going to be in everyone's home. And I've said that before. That's my goal. Because it's going to become part of them.
It already is. You say more.
More, yes. And that's where you want to be. And if that's the map we can leave on the, on the pavement, that's where you want to be. But it has to be where you include your people, your business with your growth. And that's what it's all about.
What comes to mind is a song, and pardon me trying to sound very Jamaican. Them I got tired for see my face.
Yes.
Just like how you want to be in everybody's homes, they're going to be tired of seeing that.
And if you notice the design, it's it's not a traditional design. Yes. Because we are now so physical. We want to see pictures. Mm-hmm.
Visual.
We're very visual.
Yes.
And that's why news online is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why television is doing so well, because people want to see visual. We read, but not much. So therefore, you find on the newspaper, we have a lot more pictures, and you can relate to pictures a lot more.
Yes.
You know, and not only black and white, but color as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the reasons why it's laid out such to get the attention of people. So passing by, you can see, okay, I want to grab this because it looks good, and that's when that's what happens.
Do you feel that you may include go more in depth with the financial planning and in running your financial home in the future? Understanding what we were told, mortgages are an investment, and now it's coming like the creeper.
Yes.
But just managing, because we have a lot of young people that are coming home, and based on if you are a baby boomer versus now a millennial, what they see as priorities in aligning their life is not necessarily working for those baby boomers.
Yes.
Mortgages are the last thing on their mind. Even families, having kids is the last thing on their minds. Do you feel that you can incorporate that more in understanding how people can budget, managing their money, and even a more in-depth portion of when you hear about prime rate, capital interest, inflation, breaking that down into layman's terms so that we can understand what's happening?
I must say that I haven't been doing as much as I want to. We did a little bit in the past, and that was one of the goals, to have more of that inside there, using my financial background and all the information. And we need to put more. So I'll make a promise that very soon you'll see a weekly column on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have the material. And just last week, and I applaud the HR department in the new CBC or CMC in Customs and
Cayman Border Control, CBC.
And they asked me to come in and talk to their new their staff about budgeting. So I went and spent my lunch hour with them, talk about creating budgets, and and it went over well. Mm-hmm. We even spoke about mortgages and why some people should have mortgages and why some people shouldn't at a certain age, and when your mortgage should be paid off, and how you prepare for retirement. So we had a nice conversation.
If this isn't writing on the wall, you really think they're the only ones that need to know? You started out on this, and all of a sudden you stopped, even preparing for Christmas holiday, so that you're not falling short or feeling left out. I mean, more and more you're hearing that our dollar is not going the distance anymore.
That's right.
Speaking to someone with that professional background will drop a word, inflation. Yes. But to the average Joe, I don't even know what that is.
Yes.
So these are the conversations that needs to be had when young people are going to the bank to get a mortgage, be it for a car, a piece of land, or to build their dream home. Is your dream home a 3,000 square foot, or should it be a modest 150 square foot? I mean, these are all the things that needs to be had. People need to know. But if you don't understand the lingo, so that you don't be a slave to your debt.
That's we spoke about mortgage payments, and the guidelines are your mortgage payment or your rent should be no more than 35% of your salary.
That's before or after deductions?
Before. So 35% of your salary should be apportioned to your mortgage. What we find is that percentage is an average about 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we found a lot of people are actually paying more for their homes than they can afford.
But then it leads to another conversation, and one would be more informed and more prepared to engage in dialogue.
Yes.
Reaching that, what is out there that we can afford after you do that math?
That's right.
And that's where you can make a more informed decision. Do I rent, lease, or do we really have to come together as one and speak to our leaders to say something needs to be done?
It's
because it's impossible for me to be a homeowner.
It's
if the numbers ain't adding up. And
on the back of it's the most expensive place to live. That is serious. If you don't have a good job, you're struggling, and that's important to people. Money is important. I don't like to talk about politics, but I think that the next elections, that's going to have a big play. People need to understand that they have to survive. And to survive, you have to pay your way. And money is not everything, but you can't live without money. unfortunately, this is what we live in, a consumer society. And if I'm not able to feed my family and pay my rent or my mortgage, I'm going to be in serious problems.
Mm-hmm.
Just one note I would like to make. It's hurricane season, and one of the things that people tend to get caught off guard is that they don't have any cash to buy the supplies. Please, it's hurricane season. Try and put some money aside, a couple $100, because you don't want to be caught off guard. And in hurricane season, you could be on the beach in sunlight today.
Mm-hmm.
Next weekend, a hurricane could be passing through the area. You have to go stock up, and you don't have the goods to stock up. It's not a good feeling. And so we always encourage hurricane season, put some money aside. Sacrifice a little vacation maybe, but, remember, one of the problems in hurricane season is that a lot of people don't have the funds to buy the supplies, and that's a problem.
But it all takes preparation, and many times after aftermath of a hurricane, they want cash. Your credit, debit cards may not work.
Yes.
So when we're saying put aside, I'm
Yes.
quite sure you're saying have a little bit of cash.
You have to.
Cash.
The ATMs might not work because there's no power.
Exactly. And limited amount.
Yes. Everybody's trying to get it.
Mhm.
The lines are going to be long. And there's flooding that happens in Cayman very easily.
Yes.
To get to the ATM, or they might be underwater.
Mhm.
You never know. So you always have to prepare.
And if you're like Susan, find a Milo tin. I'm quite sure that's where she has hers. Mr. Lewis, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. What is the best way for persons to connect with Caymanian Times?
I always say that my business card is a piece of paper that you find in the supermarkets and gas stations. My number is 916-2000, and you can go on my website, caymaniantimes.ky, or info@caymaniantimes.ky.
What I get from all of this, and we went all over the place, even though the spotlight was supposed to be on your newspaper, but I hope that from the discussion that we had, that it will spark different interests and publications or articles that you may publish. Life is very simple, and it's all about being practical. You call it cheap, we call it frugal. But it's what you make of it.
Yes,
but it's all about practicality and living within our means. And I'm sticking on that topic because I feel we all need to take check and take stock of ourselves and engage. If you're having difficulties of anything, any department, there's always somebody out there. But we tend to just sit down and waddle into our own failures and thinking that you can't get out of it.
Yes.
But there is a way out of anything. Just be positive and just go to, if you're having issues financially, go to your banker.
Yep.
Go to your banker. If you're having issues with finding a job, maybe you have to look at yourself and find out, why are you out of a job? Why can't you keep a job? Is it self-check that you have to do? Is it your attitude? Is it the employer? There's so much things, but it's not an end all because you have met one stumbling block.
That's right. And there's always somebody that you can talk to.
Exactly.
I mean, you might not want to share your personal information, but you'll find somebody you can trust.
And be prepared to hear the truth and not what you want to hear because it suits you. And many times we opt to take the easy way out. That is not the solution to your problems. Again, it's always a pleasure, and I hope that in the future we could catch up again and see the change in this publication.
Of course.
And we know that definitely you're listening to the comments and suggestions of your supporters. All the best to you, Mr. Lewis.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211. And Cayman Insurance Centre, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. I want to thank our producer and manning the boards, Miss Susan Watson. And she's on vacation for the next 2 weeks, leaving me all alone here with Paul and whoever else not. But, we're all team players here. We're going to keep you on your toes. I'm not going anywhere, that's for sure. And I'll see you on Tuesday. For the rest of today, happy Emancipation Day for all our Jamaican nationals. And please celebrate your independence safely and keep God first. Until Tuesday, have a safe and fabulous Thursday.
Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by insurance agents Michael Webster and Denise Brown from Cayman Insurance Centre, specializing in life and property insurance. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Oh, Cayman moon.
The voice of the Cayman Islands, Radio Cayman.
Shining down from above.
We love our listeners.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.